What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Restoration Rundown Podcast, the podcast that's dedicated to you, the restoration business owner. My name is Ben Riccardi from Ironclad Restoration Marketing, and I'm the author of the No BS Guide to Internet Marketing for Restoration Contractors. Now, the Restoration Rundown is your source for everything related to managing and owning your restoration business, from bringing on special guests and sharing success stories to taking deep dives with our team here at Ironclad Restoration Marketing into all of the online channels that you need to be tapping into to get visibility for your restoration business and get more leads from the internet. We've got you covered. So buckle up and get ready for the rundown. All right, what is up, everyone? It's been a little bit, but I'm back, and I got to definitely think about updating that introduction, because as you all know, if you follow Ironclad Restoration Marketing on social media, or you're a fan of the podcast or watch us on YouTube, I have a new book, and it is no longer called the No BS Guide to Internet Marketing for Restoration Contractors. It's now called the Some BS, because let's face it, as much as I've tried to update this book and revise it over the years, Google's changing at breakneck speeds. Tactics on how to win online are changing at breakneck speeds as well. And I want to make sure that you're getting the most authentic version of not only me, but what it actually takes to win online. So there may be some BS. In fact, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some BS in there as Google updates, but I'm pretty excited about this book. So I got to change up that introduction, but I'm even more excited about our guest today. It's been a little bit since we've had somebody on, but I'm really excited to bring him on. We've been going back and forth trying to get this thing going. So the next guest is the CRO of Live Switch. You might have seen a lot of people out in the industry now sharing it and talking about it and using it. It is a leading communications platform that uses instant video, huge fan of video, to transform how people work and scale their businesses. He's an industry thought leader, expert in sales, leadership, and business innovation. He's an entrepreneur, started and sold a couple businesses, I believe. He's also a black belt. We're going to get into that a little bit. As you all know, I'm super into jujitsu and the martial arts. And he is a man who is single-handedly keeping the Hatfield and McCoy feud alive. So I want you guys to please join me in welcoming Mr. James Hatfield to the rundown. How's it going, James?
It's going great. What an intro, man. I feel like, man, humble me a little bit, man. You build me up. It's great. I love it. I feel great. I'm like, man, I could use that every morning before I start off work.
Yeah, we can record that and just do that for each other, because I definitely need it. I just got to be careful because my head can only fit in so much of a frame in this thing. So if I get built up too much, it'll just be a face. And I don't think anybody wants to look at my face too long. That's why they listen to this on Spotify.
I love it, man.
James,
I love it.
Hatfield. I always, initially thought I was looking up some information on you before we got to know each other a little bit. And I noticed that you are the lead singer of Metallica. So that's pretty cool. Big fan of Metallica. I really appreciate you taking your time out of your world tour to come on here. No, it's actually, that is what I initially thought, but it's Hatfield, right?
That's right.
So
I'm
took me down another rabbit hole, that you are keeping a feud alive. I don't know, little known. I think a lot of people have heard about it. Talk to me a little bit about that, the Hatfield and McCoy. Give me a little bit about your background. I'd love to introduce my audience to who you are first before we get into Live Switch and all the things that you've done for the restoration industry.
Yeah, my historical family is from the mountain area here in the Blue Ridge Mountains where I live. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina, but historically around the Kentucky, West Virginia area. If you ever saw on the History Channel where they did the Hatfields and McCoys, Kevin Costner played my great-great-uncle, Devil Anse Hatfield. My brother and my father got really into history. They went out there, saw everything. They just geeked out on that stuff. But yeah, that's where I come from. American history. If you ever read, Huckleberry Finn, where they had the family feud, that was mirrored off of, American history here, where two families were feuding. And so I guess somebody's got to come from that background, but that could explain the large beard that I can grow without even trying. So maybe that's just it. So yeah, a little bit of American history. I love it. And good job knowing it's Hatfields and McCoys and not James Hatfield of Metallica. Although I do love to play and sing, except you're going to hear bluegrass coming out of my family's mouths and not, hardcore rock.
Yeah. No, hey, listen, I really appreciate. I did watch that documentary. I've read books when I was a kid. A very interesting thing. Where I'm from in northern Maine, we have a very similar. There's actually some of the Hatfield and McCoy has spun off into this northern Maine area. I don't know if it was a logging industry or something to do with that somewhere in Canada. So we had a little bit of a special interest in it. I think that's pretty cool. And I do think it's cool that you're keeping it alive. You told me pre-show that you go around to towns and
look in the phone book for different McCoys that you can just
Oh yeah,
throw eggs at their houses and stuff like that, and just keep the dream alive, right?
that's right. You got to instigate, man. Life's too short not to have a little fun.
Yeah, you got to keep things consistent with the way they've always been. That's what we want. And the guitar, man, I wish I could show you in my office. I've got too many acoustic guitars to mention. Big country, a big singer, guitar player as well. So one of these days we got to come on and invite some McCoys, and we'll just make up songs about them.
Oh yeah, we're kind of a restoration country band. Let's go, man.
Yeah, we should do it. We should definitely do it, man. I love music. So James, give me a little bit of your background. A lot. You've been making the rounds everywhere. You're kind of hard to miss if anybody's active on social media or any of the big groups out there when it has to do with the restoration industry. But talk to me a little about who you are, how you got your start, and kind of a little bit about your entrepreneurial background.
Yeah, it's been really great getting to know in the restoration business, by the way. I personally come from being a contractor. I own painting and power washing companies. That's where I came from. My father built the house that we lived in, and I know how to work on engines and homes. And upon graduation, I decided to use my two hands, and I love doing it. I became one of those accidental business owners, really good at, taking care of the home or the business. But then I had a problem where I'd go to the bookkeeper and they would speak English. And I'm like, I don't understand a word coming out of their mouth. And I know that wasn't good. I knew like that it's not going to, if I want to scale and grow. So I ended up going to state school, NC State here. I'm local to Raleigh, Durham area. If you're watching us, you'll see all of my, Raleigh, Durham paraphernalia I got on. But state school there was excellent 20 years plus ago. I'm dating myself. But as I was graduating, I met a guy who owned landscaping companies. And he built, way before AI was on the tip of everyone's tongue now, he built a system that you could take an income statement and balance sheet, run it through it, and it would tell you exactly how you're doing in plain language. I was like, you're solving the problem of why I went back to school. I love this. He's like, well, do you think you can sell it? I'm like, I can sell painting and power washing to the day is long, man. I have no idea if I can sell software. I don't know anything about it. But so we started from nothing. We went Inc. 500. We were one of the fastest growing companies in America for 3 years straight. And then we sold it. It's a multi-billion-dollar company now, and all the banks across the country use the software. So that worked out pretty well. Although I always thought I'd just end up, taking care of my contracting business the rest of my days, because I love taking care of customers and being in the community. And not that I'm not now, but it's different, But I do miss days on the ladder at times. Not all the time, especially in the South when you're banking on the ladder in the sunshine. That wasn't always my favorite, but whatever.
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's the entrepreneurial spirit. I mean, at the end of the day, I think the genesis of why I've been just a serial entrepreneur my whole life. I've worked for people. I own a contracting company as well, site development. I grew up laying pipe. My dad did it. Everybody did it. We had a trade that we learned. But I think at the end of the day, we really just want to help people. And whether you're doing it by power washing, pressure cleaning, or restoring, catastrophic property damage for somebody, I would say the majority of people, when you really try to have them break down, of course, everybody wants to make money and they want to do something. But I think that is a huge mover of what or why we do what we do, is we want to help people. And that's why naturally, me being a contractor, a pipe layer out there getting sunburnt and breaking my fingers every day and everything, to come to a digital marketing agency where I'm helping contractors get more money as I notice these issues. And now you with the software and technology companies that are out there helping these guys scale and make more money. I think that, look, we're still helping people, right? We're not out there. We can go swing a hammer out. I've got a barn and I got all kinds of projects all the time I'm working on with all my chickens and animals we've got out here. But definitely at the end of the day, we're just trying to help everybody. So, and that's why you're here. If you've noticed or been anybody that watches or listens to this, like anybody that I bring on here, and the whole reason we do this podcast, the whole reason I write these books is to help people shorten the learning curve a little bit. And if anything I say on here or a guest that I can bring on is going to help somebody with what they leave with, that's what this is about. So
I love that.
Can't say enough about you coming on here and spending your time with everything that you've got going on. So great. Thanks for sharing your background. We share a lot of similar ways that we've come up outside of the Metallica thing and the black belt thing. Talk to me about the black belt. So it's not every day. I think we talked a few weeks ago. I mentioned I injured my back, which is why we've been pushing this back a little bit in jiu-jitsu. That piqued your interest, and you are a black belt, second degree in karate.
Yeah, Okinawan, very old school karate. We're good at fighting and we're good with weapons. But very traditional. I grew up doing it, grew up teaching it. Actually, I taught a lot of karate. Ended up teaching even at Duke to Duke basketball players. So I met their families and got to teach them. I always make fun of them because they're all like 8 feet tall. I'm like, don't worry, everyone's the same size on the ground, brother.
Yes.
I love doing that, meeting their families, teaching them how to use their bodies in the right way, and just I enjoyed the strategy behind fighting and weapons, and just also the tradition behind it as well.
Yeah.
The guy that was owned the school ended up becoming a 10th degree Grand Master, and there's books written about him. And I really respect him. I got to watch him run his business as well, and he brought me into running the business. I helped him run the business, and I really, back to almost everything I put my hands on becomes a for-profit or nonprofit business. I'm an entrepreneur, heart and soul. But I got a nice start from, and I talk to him. He's authored a ton of books, and I love teaching karate and just the physical fitness of it as well.
Yeah, and I think what people may not understand, why I push jujitsu like crazy. I mean, because that's what I'm doing. I think that with what you've done, the resiliency, the consistency that you learn, the strategy that you learn by dedicating your life as a black belt you have, and that's just Frank, to this, I think that translates a lot to the business world. I think it translates a lot to your spiritual outlook. I'm a devout Christian, and I look at that journey, that spiritual journey of Christianity along with my jiu-jitsu journey. And I'm sure that the same comparison can be made with what you've done. So I think that lends to what you've been able to accomplish with your businesses. I mean, I think
one thing I don't share too often is I actually founded a church here in Nashville 13 years ago. So I grew up atheist, actually had some life events happen, became a devout Christian. I rewrote the whole New Testament by hand. I was kind of worried about religious folks. And I was just worried. I just didn't come from that. I didn't come from any faith background at all. Actually, we kind of said, hey, it's Santa Claus and don't ruin it for the kids. But I had a conversion and felt called to start churches. I literally just started a church in the last couple of months in a hospice. So I go and we bring the guitars in and my children, and we sing to people on their last hour of life around their families. So it's a big, we've got full-time staff, 6 different churches now, and the nonprofit has done very well. And I'm very pleased to see what God is doing there. And if you're not religious, don't worry. I think we're just, talking a little bit about the things that we've built and been a part of. So that's definitely part of my story as well. A big part of my story, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's Colossians 3:23-24. You're do whatever you do it like you're working for the Lord. And that, again, that lends to the success, your resiliency, the resolve that we do. And it's really great to hear that you're planting some churches up there. That's something that I hope to be able to do in my lifetime, as we're called to do as Christians. But enough about the Christianity. I can go on for hours about that. So, hey, listen, if anybody wants to tune in and talk about Christianity and entrepreneurship, I'm sure James would be happy to hop on and we can do an episode just like that. I'd love to do that. But appreciate all that. So let's talk about your newest venture, Live Switch. You came across my radar a couple times. I don't remember if it was at RIA or one of the trade shows. Some of my friends in the industry, the guests of the podcast, are starting to talk about it a little bit. I got a chance to dive in, and your McKinsey over on your end reached out, and it ended up working out really great. Not only do we share a lot of commonalities, but I really like your platform. So give me a little bit of an idea of the background of Live Switch. Let's talk to everybody about what it is and really how it can help them in their restoration business, or really any kind of business. It looks like, I looked on your website, I don't think you're missing any single niche on there. Being a site development contractor, we took a look at it as well from that company. So talk to me a little bit about Live Switch, who, what, why, where, how, and why now.
Yeah. Well, we never intended to be back in home services, although I think gravity has a way of bringing you back to your roots. We purchased this company 5 years ago. It's a 16-year-old company, and everybody here has actually even seen our stuff and used it. You just didn't know it was us. So we did the Super Bowl the last 3 years. If you go to an MLB ballpark and scan a QR code, they put you on the Jumbotron. We did that during COVID. NBA had the bubble. We powered all of that. But we're one of very few companies that work with live video. It's extremely difficult. We have a ton of computer scientists on staff. And so what ended up happening, because we're one of the few companies in the world that work with live video, we got the chief of police in Washington, D.C. knocking on our door to reinvent the nation's 911 phone call. So got to really think hard about, how do we tap in? Everyone's got 3 to 5 cameras in their pocket at all times, most everybody, right? How do we tap into that without having somebody stop and download something when they're in the middle of an emergency situation? And how do we get them to use something they've never touched before, right? And they're compromised. So between those 3 pieces alone, it took us a while, but we eventually found a way to get in through SMS texting. So when you call 911, you're on telephony. It's actually the worst part of the phone. It's ancient. We still have phone numbers. It's crazy. But you're calling 911, and in this case, 911, right? And then you get a text. We figured we can go in through SMS. It's a different mode. And then you can tap the text and then get into a third area, which is in your data and it's the nerdy talks called WebRTC. You don't have to worry about that stuff, but it'll allow us to stream that video camera from the citizen to a police car, a fire truck, or emergency medical, so they can see what they're driving into. It's called situational awareness. So we figured, well, who else can use this? No app. You see what I see. And we ended up back into home services as well as property and a number of other areas. But restoration, we kind of came on the scene through a podcast. We were having this kind of discussion, and we had a number of restoration companies listening in, and they directly reached out right after the podcast, and we landed into restoration. Now, this platform we're talking about is 3 years old, from the 16-year-old company from the first time, that we were working with the 911 chief of police. And now most recently, we've wrapped everything with AI. And we'll get into all of that. But the whole idea is, imagine FaceTime and ChatGPT got together and had a baby. That's where out pops this. But the baby was made for, in this case, restoration, right? Because a lot of these tools that we have at our fingertips, these conferencing platforms, FaceTimes and things, were not really meant at all to do remote work, estimations, on-site documentation. It was not ever built for that, but we didn't have any other options. So we kind of cobbled things together, and we wonder why those tools didn't really fit or didn't really work our business. It's like, when paint sprayers came along, at my painting business for the first time, we were hand rolling, hand brushing everything.
Yeah.
Sprayers came along, and I was like, well, I think this is probably going to take over the industry. So I just bought some and gave them to the guys and myself, and we played with them for a week. 2 weeks. The first houses we started painting with them, it was terrible. We were overspraying. We sucked with the shields. We were shooting out paint. We were just playing with the technology, right? It was painting technology, but eventually we got the hang of it, and then we never got away. And they're still using, these paint guns to this day because it does a better job. It's faster, better for the top and bottom lines, especially the bottom line. And that's the nature of technology. So now we have AI in our hands. We have these cameras in our pockets. Let's put them to work. And what we're going to talk about here, I'm sure, in short order, is the transformation of where the restoration industry is going in this particular case.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. So Face GPT is what we got going on and running this show here. So talk to me a little bit about how it works. I mean, it sounds incredible. You mentioned the police chief story before when we first met, and I was just like blown away that didn't already, that wasn't already something that people were doing. I know that, in the criminal justice world, that they can turn those on as needed with a warrant and all that stuff. But, to be able to utilize that to keep people safe, keep our first responders safe, is humongous. I mean, I can't believe that wasn't already invented, like the slap bracelet back in the day. Like, who'd have thought? Somebody, if I'd have just been on top of that one, I'd be
you would have made a few bucks. Yeah, the chief of police himself, when I showed him everything, he literally looks over his glasses. He goes, "James, this seems so obvious. Why didn't we already have this already?" And I'm like, Chief, we all didn't carry around cell phones in our pocket. They practically issue them now when you're born. But now that we have the infrastructure, it is obvious. We just happen to be the ones that ushered it in. But it was obvious, and the technology just needed to happen. But it is funny how sometimes the most obvious things in front of our face, we're like, why didn't we have this earlier?
Yeah.
To your point. You're exactly right, Ben.
Happens to me every day. And yes, I am exactly right most of the time. No, just kidding. Thank you for that. That was the payback for the intro, I think. Thanks, guys. So just remember that, everybody. If there's any takeaway you take from this episode, is that I'm always right, or exactly right is probably a better way to put it. So, James, talk to me about let's talk about how the platform works and how really restorers can leverage this. And we'll talk to the restoration industry. I think anybody that's listening to this that's in any home service or as a business can probably just replace restoration with their business industry. So follow along. James, talk to me a little bit about how restorers can leverage this technology and how it's going to help. At the end of the day, listen, everybody wants their bottom line to be affected, right? A lot of times we can do that with carving out some time off of your days, improving some processes, streamlining, or, firing people, whatever. So talk to me a little bit about how Live Switch works, how you guys are using it, or restorers are using it right now to leverage for their business.
Yeah. So let's talk about it first from the customer point of view, right? Because the customers are really the most important people that we serve. When somebody is going through loss, they're not just upset, because they are. They sometimes feel shame because maybe they burnt the kitchen down. They're feeling some things, and it's not always a happy phone call, right? When's the last time a homeowner or business called you in a great mood as a restoration company? They don't call, "Oh, I'm so happy I burnt the kitchen down today, and I'm so glad
it's finally come. My basement is flooded. Let's go."
That's it. I'm so pumped. So the first thing we want to do and think about is how fast that we can give that virtual hug. Like, it's okay. When you have someone like when you're injured and the ambulance comes, you're feeling a little bit even better, even though you're still, something's
Yep.
broken on you, right? Or
Yep.
you go to the doctor, you're not feeling great about it, but you feel better. Got the person has that degree, they have that.
Yep.
So when someone says, "Hey, I've heard about this before," it's a lot different than someone said, "Hey, Ben, I've seen this before. Don't worry, my team handles this all the time." And the faster we can have that engagement, the faster we can start building trust, because we sell trust first, right? We sell trust. And how do we sell trust first? As a marketing person, people are going to Google, right? And where are they trusting? They're trusting that star rating actually means something.
Yes.
Come to believe. So then we go and we start, restoration near me. This is how a customer, going from the customer view first. They're clicking, in comes the quote. And if our marketing person's done a great job, like Ben does, it'll come in and my sales or dispatcher, whoever's going to hit first, right? So what we want to do is you're on the clock. You are now speed to lead is what everyone says. Yep. I want to change that to race to the face. When's the last time you were able to estimate a restoration project blind? Meaning they just called you, you got a good discovery call, you gave them the quote and they signed it. That's not how it works ever for anybody.
No.
So what we've historically done is we send our most expensive thing is called a free estimate, because it is not free for me as a business owner. Never has been, never will be. Yep. In fact, it's the most expensive, bottom line consuming thing I do. I take a hourly wage employee, put them in one of my vehicles, burning up my gas just to drive across town in the hopes that they're winning the business. And sometimes they get there in restoration, like, "Oh, I want my kitchen remodeled."
Yeah. Yep.
Or they say, "Hey, it's not a big deal." And when you get there, you're like, 6 inches in the water, buddy. In the basement. 6 inches in the basement's a big deal.
Yeah.
Or it's not so big a deal. So you're driving out, and yes, you're establishing that trust. You're shaking the hand. You're doing the things that we've done for decades, right? Well, now what you can do instead, when that quote comes in, is your team can send a text message, just like we were talking about with 911 call, to the homeowner or business owner. They tap on it, and you instantly connect. They see your face. Here comes the trust build and the virtual hug. "Oh, why don't you show me? Oh, I'm so sorry you burnt the kitchen down. I'm sure you're feeling pretty frustrated." "Oh, yeah. Well, we've seen this before. We handle smoke damage all the time. We can get this fixed. Not a problem. We'll get your insurance company involved. We're going to take care of this for you."
Yep.
And now I'm recording that entire piece. I'm taking remote photos. I can laser guide the person around. This is all purpose built for this remote estimate. Now, can you fully estimate it? Sometimes in small jobs, yes. And you have it documented, recorded, send it to insurance, you're done. You never have to get in your truck. And now you're sending out your team, you're giving them the recording, they're seeing everything coming in, they're filling the truck up with what they need, and they're heading out, right? And they know, and the customer doesn't have to repeat themselves. The other side is it's 10 at night, 2 in the morning. Let's do 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning, person's calling, it's DEFCON 5 over here. "Oh my gosh, Ben, we're dying. Oh my gosh." And they're like, "Can I send you a text and you show me what the fuss is about?"
Yeah.
"My toilet is leaking.
Yeah.
There's water on the floor.
Sorry, we're closed."
"I'll see you at 9 in the morning."
Yeah. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, tomorrow.
You can cut off the water to the bottom. You're fine. That's 100%.
Exactly. And
Versus
the person
mobilizing a crew in the middle of the night to go over there and realize, like, we're just going to shut the toilet off because we don't have, parts to fix it or whatever the case may be.
Right. Or vice versa. 2 in the morning, no big deal. It's just a little water in the basement. No, it's active flooding. You got 2 pipes. You got water coming in from the outside.
Yeah.
No, we are calling the cavalry right now.
Yep. 100%. Yeah.
This is the reason. So you're helping make decisions. You're seeing what they see. You're putting out the proper folks. You're giving the virtual hug. And then the final piece is you're taking this recording and you're going to put it through AI. And you're going to ask AI to give you a project plan, timeline, budget, and CRM entry and contract. Oh, and can you convert it to Spanish? Because I guarantee you, Ben, you probably haven't met one restoration salesperson or operational person who loves entering information in their CRM.
No, probably not. I rarely find one that likes using a CRM. So that was going to be my next question. Are you, so for integration wise, I'm assuming you have a ton of integration capabilities.
We do. Everything I'm talking about has an open API, nerdy talk, where we can bolt it under the hood. but you don't even have to do that, right? This stuff is all very one-click friendly, right? So you can take that recorded video, tell a person, hey, it's going to be okay, run it through the AI, ask for it, and output will come out with project plan, whatever you asked it for.
Sure.
Like your imagination is the limitation. Oh, and by the way, write the CRM entry for me.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
We're not trying to like take the responsibility away from your team members.
Mhm.
We're trying to take something that takes 30 minutes to write out and get rid of that. That is very expensive for your bottom line, and your people hate doing it.
Right.
There's no reason.
So naturally, it's not going to be a very efficient process already to begin with, and not so you're saving time on that end. But I mean, geez, the initial just getting the lead, the customer trust up front, which we know in this industry is probably the most important thing here is building that trust, because there's a lot of people out there that do what you guys do out there, and there's a lot of competition. That's why we talk about getting Google reviews. That's that social proof. And if you can get that past that point, it's still an uphill battle, and everybody has their own close rates. But man, you get on the phone on a live, FaceTime, chat GPT, get to take a look at the damage, get to ease their mind. I love what you said, hey, we see this all the time. This is pretty normal. Relax. Here's how we're going to handle this. Are you comfortable with this? When can we show up? Right. A lot of that stuff that you have a guy already, there's so many steps that you're tossing out the window, I think, from an ops perspective, that it's incredible. So everybody needs to start looking into this with their businesses. I can imagine a lot of different uses for this as well outside of that.
Oh yeah. Once you see the outputs of what is possible, like yesterday I was on with a flooring company. Guy's 30 years in flooring. He's the owner, and he walks around his office because he's actively replacing some of his carpeting. And we run a 3-minute walkthrough video. He's telling what here's this, here's what I need. The report even had the quote, and he went in his quoting system. Our system was only $150 to the north of the entire quote. He was blown away. And then in addition, because he has to move everything, just like restoration, sometimes you got to move the stuff out. He even on the same video ran an inventory report, and it showed everything that needed to be moved, all documented with weights and how to move it. So it had the full moving inventory in addition to also his quoting and everything else. So as you start to leverage the power of AI in your business, you can start running all these different pieces to, one, cover your backside, and B, document everything. And when you're documenting everything, now you're bringing your own YouTube library into your business for training, documentation.
Sure.
Maybe if you got to go back a year later, you got to give it to insurance, you got to get subcontractors out there, all 9. This is uplifting the value of your company. Because anytime you go to exit, and I talked to a lot of folks that are exiting businesses, I've sold businesses, right? Like now, when you're documenting your process, you have everything recorded, everything there, you are elevating your multiple upon when you're ready to sell your business.
Yeah, that's great. And, so there's a lot of people that listen to this, and we cross the gamut with listeners. There's the one-man shows, there's the multi-million-dollar corporations. I think Jay-Z listens to this quite a bit. And everybody has their own processes. Everybody has their own systems in place. I mean, how, I know you mentioned it's super user-friendly, one click. Do we have any limitations? And I'll take a step back, and why I'm asking this. There's a couple vendors out there in the restoration world that struggle in the restoration industry, because if you're not using XYZ CRMs, maybe the big 5, and you don't have this, and this set up in your business, we've got to customize this so much that it's not worth it for us. So how did you guys overcome that with your technology, or did you overcome that to where we can kind of just blanket this to anybody, no matter where you're at in your business?
Right. Well, in restoration, right, we're going to struggle sometimes with the insurance companies.
Yes.
Because they have to have it a certain way. So if you want to get the insurance money, you've got to II captain and do that, right?
Sure.
That aside, okay, how can a small startup or mom and pop compete against the big folks? Here, you're listening to it right now, right? With Ben, we get our marketing game on, right? And then we beat them on speed. So we're talking about race to the face, speed to lead, this type of thing. If I can be the first one out, have you ever called somebody and said, hey, I'm on my way out to do your estimate, to take a look at the issue? And they're like, don't bother, I found somebody.
Yep.
You only lost because of speed.
Yep.
That's where this is coming in. So if you can be nimble and quick, find the things that enhance your speed. Just like for an NFL wide receiver, the fastest ones make the most money. Well, the fastest restoration companies make the most money. You know how I know? Ask a business owner whose business is down because they need restoration, how fast they want. So what you can do is go around to commercial, and we have QR codes and different things. Say, hey, look, I know you might already have your big company you've used in the past, but if they don't come out fast enough, or even a day or delay, which costs tons of money. Why don't you put us to the test here? Either give us a call or scan that QR code, show us the damage, and watch how fast my team can come out, right? And that's how you start taking away business, claiming it. Assume everyone in your entire community is going to have loss at some point. So we see a lot of reactive businesses. How can you be proactive? Marketing. Send out a document that says in the mailbox, yes, I know that's a bit old school, that says hang this up, and it says ever experiencing loss, put your phone number, scan this QR code, tell us what's wrong, claim that property. That's a big race, another race going on now.
Sure.
Claim your favorite neighborhoods, claim your favorite business parks, start doing this and then marketing to them and then beating them with speed. And you don't have to be a big, huge company to start winning.
It's getting ahead of the times, or getting with the times and leveraging these softwares, and that people may be traditionally adverse to using any technology. I mean, I still talk to guys and go into associations and stuff that are like against digital marketing. Like, we don't need to use it. And then you notice those guys 6, 7 months, 2 years, 10 years down the road, where they're like, holy crap, our business is down. This plumber and this property manager is not referring us work anymore. What do we do? TPA's dried up. What are we going to do here? And then you're reactively trying that. It's no different. Every year we deal with this. It's cat season is pretty big. I'm down in South Florida. Hurricanes start coming, and then we start getting the phone calls like, hey, we need to be, start getting SEO going. Like, man, you're way too late. You're trying to get your beach body in the summertime. You've got to start a little earlier. So I think it's pretty cool to see technologies like what Live Switch does kind of step in and basically just kind of give you a tool that will just totally put you ahead of where you would have been traditionally. I think if you can get your digital marketing, obviously you want to have that real estate on page one, but what's happening after that, right? Well, your digital marketing agency, you can't control that. Your sales guys can control it somewhat, but man, if you can eliminate hours, days off the process of closing a client, especially in a cat type situation or something that's, pretty emergency, man, what a great technology, what a great tool to be able to use. And, like inventing the slat bracelet. I don't know why anybody hasn't thought of that before. Right.
I know, it's crazy. Here's the thing about a cat situation that I think is really important. I want to tack onto this, and about getting your beach body ready, which I love that. Right. So if you are smaller or larger, whatever you're listening to this episode, get ahead of the hurricanes. Guaranteed they're coming. I'm in Asheville, North Carolina. We had a pretty bad one. All right. Yeah. What we would have loved, my neighborhood specifically, is if someone would have gone around pre-hurricane or anytime, frankly, and said, hey, hurricane, cat, what you can do, scan this QR code, take a video of the damage, and you'll automatically start having these inbound leads come in. The beauty is it's all on video. Yeah. Right. So the dirty secret, I know it now that I've been around the block a few times, is that we're going to prioritize the best jobs. Yeah. So when those cat things come, those things that happen, you've got all these inbound videos. You're watching quick videos and you're prioritizing. Okay, we'll take that one. We'll take that one. We'll take this one. And now you've lined up that work. You've got this instant response to that group of people you're going after. And these are some of the no nonsense, easy things to do to get ahead of it and to also prioritize the right jobs that can make you your top line and bottom line sing.
Yeah, I mean, you're elevating your low-hanging fruit in a sense. I mean, everything becomes low-hanging fruit. You get to choose. I think that's a great idea. One of the things, guys, if you're listening to this, there's a lot of ideas of way you can pepper neighborhoods like that. The everyday direct mail through the U.S. Post Office is something we used to do as a marketing agency. We don't do any print marketing anymore because it's a lot, but it's a really cool service that you can do just that. So if you're already using Live Switch and you're trying to figure out ways how to race to the face, as James said, you can use the EDDMs. They're great. There's templates. You can make something on Canva, put your QR code, and listen, you have property damage from the hurricane. You can send these out, and they'll send them out in 2 days. Look at a hurricane may be coming. It's worth spending $400 or $500 on these mailers. Get them into the neighborhoods that you want to work in, or the businesses. I mean, you can choose commercial versus residential when you're picking your zip codes. That's a really easy way to do it. 100%. I mean, you could put posters up if you want. I think that's a great idea. Drop flyers off, pay somebody a couple bucks to go throw some flyers around, but preemptively doing that so you're not reactively trying to get these people who, as bad as it was in Asheville, and we get them. This is first year I haven't seen anything in a long time, but when we get them bad down here, man, we're not plugged into social media anymore. It's harder to get online. The internet's down, electricity's out. The last thing you're going to be doing is trying to figure out some stuff like this. You just take the guesswork out, make the decision for them. Because if you can get a QR code, they can check your company out. Your Google reviews are good. You've got a little bit of a placement on Google. I mean, everything that you've done to build your organic rankings up and all the different stuff you're doing on Google search, putting those billboards up. Live Switch during a cat disaster with this type of technology can connect the dots there, because
Totally. And now you're getting everything live on recorded video.
yes,
And as Ben will tell you, when you have real photos, real videos on your business profile at Google and on your website, now AI is looking at these things.
yes,
Google is looking at these things, and it will organically raise you up in
Yep.
that search as well. So it all comes full circle. Or maybe you're using these things for social media
Yep.
or other pieces. Obviously, you get approval from the homeowners, but if they've had a great experience with you, you got a nice before and after, and you've got it all captured on video, you got to use that stuff. This is the stuff that matters and moves the needle now.
It's something we put, you're 100% right, exactly right, as you would put it, on that. And video, if you guys listen to this, I'm talking it all the time, one of the challenges we have with our clients is getting to create these videos. So this also is going to create case studies for you. Remember, we're building trust. You are going into somebody's home or business that's had catastrophic damage. In the business side, it's a little bit different, but you got to build that trust. And if you can get that trust built by showing case studies, and when your guy gets on there and they're like, hey, listen, we see this before, check out some of our videos, check out our Google business profile, we've got some case studies. You create a case study before and after, and you tag whoever that is in social media. Let's just say you've got a great client that allows you to do that. Now they're sharing it, and that whole top of mind referral mentality with social media starts steamrolling there. And then you're just going to start trickling in this perpetual pipeline of leads. So I can definitely see from a digital marketing perspective how this can really, really help accelerate your visibility online and help you bank some videos, because video is, with AI coming out, video is, and I've been saying this for a while, video is going to be the thing that builds the trust the most. It's very easy to fake things these days. It's very easy to buy reviews on Google. However, you shouldn't be doing it, but video, it's hard to escape that. I know there's really cool videos on AI coming out, but I can't imagine a restorer. If a restorer has enough time to sit down and create AI videos of case studies, then they probably have a little bit too much time on their hands.
That's
Videos
right.
to build trust on your website.
And the other thing to know is know how Google and ChatGPT operate. Know their customer. Their customer, and you probably are one, is when you go to ChatGPT or Google and you're putting in searches, if they give you good results, you're going to keep going back. Can you imagine if your Google searches came back crappy every time, how long you'd continue using Google? You wouldn't. So the same thing happens when somebody's experiencing loss. They want to be able to go to Google or ChatGPT. Hey, I'm experiencing loss. I live in this area. What is the best restoration company near me? That is where Google makes its money, and ChatGPT, they're going to surface and find the best restoration companies and surface those organically, because then if you use them, it was a good experience, you're going to keep coming back to Google and ChatGPT. So by you being the real thing, doing good work at the end of the day, and then showing that work off, then those systems, Google and ChatGPT, can crawl everything that you have and surface the best results for their customers, and then they get advertisements too, right? So it's all full circle. But if you know how the game works, and don't overcomplicate it. I think we like to use a lot of fancy words, but if you're doing good work and you're showing off your good work, and you keep doing your good work over and over again, and you work with the right companies like with Ben, you're going to be just fine. And just stay ahead of things. And we know it's a lot, but if you can take it one bite at a time with the elephant, you're really going to elevate your business and take care of your community, because I know that's what you're trying to do, and your team and your salaries that you need to pay.
Yeah, 100%. James, we're getting ready to run out of time here. I did share the link to go visit Live Switch, but if you guys check out the show notes, we've got a couple custom booking links and a promo code for the Restoration Rundown listeners that we're going to go and share with you guys. So take a look out in the show notes for those links and save some money. But even if you don't want to wait, you don't want to look at the show notes, go to Live Switch. I believe in their platform. You'll notice that there's a lot. Start searching the Restoration Rebels group for other people talking about it. If what James has said today doesn't convince you that you should be implementing this in your business from a marketing perspective, you should be implementing video into your business anyway. So why not use something that does everything for you? Or all the guys that tell me that are customers that are listening to this or clients of mine or past clients that I don't have time to make videos. You have no excuses anymore with companies like Live Switch. So James, I really appreciate your time. Any final thoughts before we wrap up today?
Yeah, do me a favor. Don't be a dead end. What's a dead end? It's a person who takes in all this great information. Ben is putting himself out there trying to increase, his industry, really help out, give those golden nuggets. I'm sure he's not making millions off this podcast. So I think the least we can do, and I don't care if it's this episode or a different one from what Ben's doing, go ahead and share it somewhere, like either with a colleague, one of your network, put it on a LinkedIn or a social network like Facebook if you're there, and just don't be a dead end. Like, we want to share. I know we can think sometimes, oh, it's my competition. No, don't think of it that way. Like, the cream rises, so does the crap. Be the cream, and go ahead and share, what Ben's been doing. And thank you for making a difference in our industry, Ben. We really appreciate it.
James, same to you, man. I really appreciate everything you're doing for the industry, and I know everyone else does. That's it for today, buddy. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm looking forward to future episodes.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, that is it for today. Keep a lookout. The Restoration Rundown has a ton of really cool guests coming up. And listen, you need to check out liveswitch.com. Make sure you take a look at the show notes. If you want to save some money, we've got some custom links that James and the team over at Live Switch have provided for us and for the listeners of the Restoration Rundown. That's all we've got for you today. Tune in. Until then, I'll see you